Hey guys, we're here in Auburn at the Auburn Flyers Cycling Classic Crit on Sunday, and this was an interesting one. You can see that truck there on the left had some pads on it. That thing was sticking out right in the middle of the racing line, and it was pretty sketchy on this back straight. And then turn 3, you're going to see here in just a second, is pretty wild. There's a lot of potholes. The surface changes dramatically over and over again. It's pretty crazy. You're about to see it here coming up. Oh, you can see that, and there's that curb on the left with those cones. Lots of wrecks there in the earlier races of the day. I was watching that all day. But you can see this guy, you can hear some yelling there. People are attacking and yelling this early on in this race, just over and over again, just tearing this race apart. We were just flying all day long. But the people to know here are, you can't quite see them, but the Velobrew guys were super strong yesterday. I was in that break yesterday with 2 of them. One was Matt Guevara and Will. I don't remember his last name, but super strong. Yesterday there was also 3 other riders. Me, Lucas Strain, and Brock Mason, which Brock Mason is a big sprinter. He can put out a lot of watts and really take it to the line, so we were watching him in that break. But I'll point him out as you see him. In this race, there's another Velobrew guy that was not in the break yesterday. That's the Masters 35 national champion, 35 plus national champion. That's one of the guys that was in the break right there to the left. Their Velobrew guys are in the yellow and blue kits. You'll see him. Lucas Strain is right in front of me. He was also in the break yesterday, so we were watching him all day. And I'm just going to let this play for a minute. So right now, one of the Velobrew guys are off the front with a super rider. I believe it's Matt Guevara, and I don't know the super rider's name, but I was a little bit worried about this one because Matt is super strong. He did some racing out in Ecuador and took a couple stage wins there. So I go to close this down. You can see just putting a huge effort in, 600 watts there. 300 just steady, just cranking, trying to catch these 2 guys. But end up closing them pretty quick, which was pretty surprised about. I was hoping they would stay out there a little bit longer so we could get a little bit of a gap, but I'd basically just pull the field back together here, catch these 2 guys, and then I believe someone is probably going to attack here. I don't remember. I just sit on some wheels, kind of follow some guys. Let's see what happens. So I think we did actually get a little bit of a split here because I could hear myself yelling at Matt to go. And so I think we're drilling it here. We got a little bit of a gap, probably not a big one, because you can see Matt really isn't putting in a full effort, but he's going pretty hard, and he's going to pull off here in a minute. And I'm going to take a pull, and then they catch us right after that. But this gutter was super sketch. You can see those curves on the left side when we were going back through there. People were just hitting pedals on them. And then that third turn again was just super gnarly. Yeah, I think I pulled through. Yeah, pulling through here 500 watts. Just, we were smashing. can see how rough those cobbles are. You get out of that curb and you can see the camera just shaking. But even on this curb, the edge between the brick and the curb, there's a little bit of a gap there. So if you get your wheels off of it, it's a bad day for you. You're going down. I think we get caught right here. I believe Brock Mason and one of the Velebrew guys, or it's Lucas Strain and one of the Velebrew guys actually, they catch us, but they brought the whole field with them. So I sit back in, try to recover a little bit. I'm hurting pretty bad here, up to 197 beats per minute. My max is around 210, but I was hurting. You can see everyone's just kind of looking around at each other. We're still going pretty quick here, but it's definitely slowed down. Looks like someone just attacked actually off the front, one of the Velebrew guys, because they just ramped up pretty hard there, up to 30 miles an hour in this gutter. You can see I'm closing that gap down. So watch right here on the right. This is the Master 35 Plus National Champion right there. That was his attack. That was it. That was the race. He's gone. He sets into FTP. Everyone looks around at each other, and he just hammers all the way to the finish line. Kudos to that guy. We try to do some bridging. Some more attacks are going to go, but that dude just puts the hammer down. I'm gonna skip this forward a little bit because we kind of just sit here, nothing really happens, no one really attacks for a little while, and that gap to that one rider just blows out. It's Owen shot out there. I jumped ahead here just a few laps. I'm about to put in another dig here, not a full effort, just wanted to try to get the group back moving again because we really slowed down the pace a lot. So I wanted to try to motivate the group to go and catch this guy out there so we can still have a shot. So I think I put in a good lap here at least of a pull. And of course all the guys jumped on my wheels pretty much immediately. There was no gap in between me and the rider behind me here. But I still just put in about a lap, I think. Let's see. But you can see down there on the left, I'm just drilling 197 beats per minute, hanging a little over FTP, just rolling into these turns. 500 watts straight out of the turn. This was a pretty good punch right here to the finish. You can see doing 350 watts up this hill at 20 miles an hour. Just rolling. I think I flicked my elbow here, trying to get someone to come around, but no one really wanted to pull. You could hear Matt behind me saying that we had a little bit of a gap, but I wasn't able to hold this by myself. So there's Brock Mason. He took a pull through, helped me out a little bit here, but the group pretty much catches us. Gave me a little pull there, but then he flicks his elbow and pulls back off. So I'm pulling, but not putting in a full effort because the group has caught us back. Waiting on the counterattacks to go so I could follow. This is not the position you want to be in. You don't want to be sitting on the front waiting for attacks like that. You can't. There's nothing you can do to counter that. You're not hopping on that train. Oh, you can see right there, Matt almost gutters me in. I was like, bro, no. He was like, my bad. It's all good. It's crit racing. Some more attacks are going. Matt hops on that, thankfully, so I can grab his wheel. I think a super rider comes around me right here and helps me close that down. We got those two guys off the front, the Hot Tubes rider and the Velobrew rider back. And then again, nobody really wants to work. Nobody wants to do anything. Nobody wants to attack for a little while here. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So I actually jumped ahead a good bit here. This is like 5-6 minutes later. Nothing happened. I took a couple pulls on the front, just trying to keep this group motivated, but nobody wanted to work. So right here, I believe I put in a little of attack. So we're cranking. Somebody's attacking right now, and then he stops. You can see Matt in front of me coast a little bit, and then I just launch. Down the right side, almost hit that lady. She was sitting on the course. But I got all the way to the right there, that way I can create as much gap as possible. But one of the Velobrew riders hops right on me, so I'm looking back here just to see how much gap I had on him, trying to make it difficult on him to burn his legs up just a little bit. But he ultimately ends up catching me. But luckily when he catches me, he doesn't bring the field with him, so it's just me and him. But I was really putting in a hard effort here. I was really trying to create some separation. I think I'm talking to him right here, trying to convince him to help me catch his teammate. I'm telling him I won't contest his sprint, just so he would help me, because we put a pretty good gap on the field. I think right at the end of this lap, I put in a good dig again. We got almost 20 seconds on the field, which was a little over halfway to the guy that's out front, and so I was hoping he would help me a little bit, but when he pulls through, you can see he'll pull through and then the pace just slows down. He did not want me to go catch that rider out front. You see just doing 300 watts down this back straight. Heart rate is just climbing. I'm talking to him here again. Telling him that he can have first and second, and I'll roll in third if he'll just help me work. You can see how slow he's going on the front here. He's giving me a little bit here actually, but I think at this point we had close to 20 seconds on the field. I think I just told him that Brock was coming across. But here I'm just so gassed. I'm giving everything I have left in the tank here, just trying to get this to stick. But I think Brock catches us and then he brings the field back in just a minute, because I just lay off the gas, because if he's not going to work with me, I'm not going to be able to solo bridge this gap. I think I sit up right here when I see the fields coming. Oh, I guess it was the next lap. But you can see I'm just sitting on the front. You can hear, I guess it was his team manager or teammate, somebody telling him, make Caleb do all the work, don't pull through. And I kind of laughed and looked at him and said, please don't listen to him, man. But you can see I'm still putting in a big effort here. But I think this is the lap when the field catches us again. So I sit back, get a little recovery in, and let's see what happens. Yeah, you can see I sit up there, 50 watts. So he attacks me. That's been sitting on my wheel the whole time, so he puts on the attack. Brock Mason covers that. You can see another Velobrew rider. I'm gassed at this point, so I'm just hoping that these guys will help me pull that gap back to those riders that just attacked me. Lucas Strain, he's pulling that gap back. I believe we catch him down here on this back straight. You can see him, there's 3 up there. We're just rolling through this turn. Here we catch them, I bridge the gap, I use their draft to get a benefit, and I just put in another dig here, just to keep the Velobrew guys under pressure a little bit, because they were just controlling this race, because their teammates out front, and he's just rolling out there. But I put this effort in. One of the Velobrew guys, Will, I believe it was Will, and Brock Mason hop on my wheel, and almost immediately, and then it's just us 3. Matt, also on Velobrew, does a good job keeping the field back there, but there wasn't much left. This race got really blown apart. I think only like 10 people, including the break, finished, so it was pretty brutal. my Garmin dies or I lose footage or something. I don't know, but you can see right here the guys pull through, and then my Garmin dies. But it basically stays like this for the rest of the race. The Velobrew guy helps us work a little bit, but not much. And I help Brock get off the front and get a second place. I'm gonna insert a couple of pictures here. This I really like this one. It shows the splits and everything. But congrats to the Velobrew guys. They rode great all weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.